there's been a lot of talk recently as of like, you know, heavy talks of a possible fight between Joshua and Fury over in the Middle East. Now, like the interview that he did with, I'm sure you've seen it, the interview that he did with Coogan, Bob Arum mentioned that they're having an advisor, they're using Dan Kinahan to sort of broker something, to make something happen, like find the location somewhere overseas. Do you know any details about anything at all?
Just that, you know, I just think that obviously there's been a lot of speculation about Daniel, and I think what the common misconception is, because obviously Daniel used to own MTK, so I think people often have this misconception that Daniel owns or is MTK. Daniel's an independent advisor that has a great relationship with many promoters and many fighters, and has orchestrated many deals, including Tyson's deal with Top Rank and ESPN, you know, because like I say, he has a great relationship. Tyson was currently signed with BT Sport and Frank Warren and Queensbury Promotions. And Daniel obviously has a fantastic relationship with Bob and Top Rank and ESPN, and a great relationship with Frank, BT Sport. There, so obviously Daniel. But
he's also like appointed as a special advisor for that. It's a sports organization called KHK in Bahrain. I mean, that's big news, because that could potentially be where they host Fury Joshua.
You know, he's done a lot of work, and he put the deal together. Obviously, for a deal to be, we're seeing it at the minute with Crawford and Spence. A deal between Top Rank and PBC is a difficult one. So Daniel was an advisor in the Tyson and Wilder fight, getting put together, and the deals that were being done there. So I think there's a lot of common misconception there. He's a phenomenal advisor, but an independent advisor. And I just think, just clearing that up, that I think a lot of people have that misconception to think that Daniel is MTK, but he's an independent advisor that's done a lot for a lot of fighters. I was introduced to him back when he did own MTK, and obviously working with Billy Joe, who's very good friends with him. And I just...
I mean, but this is a big deal, like to potentially, you know, put on a big fight of this magnitude. I mean, Fury versus Joshua, and this is massive, and for it to possibly be overseas or in the Middle East, overseas for me, Middle East, could potentially open it up to fight fans actually attending, depending on, because I don't know what you know the BBBFC is going to do in the next 6 months to a year, again, because we don't know, but it could open up another avenue for it to be out there.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, like what you say there, it's a massive job to be given. But I just think that people don't understand that he's, like I say, he's orchestrated many big fights, many big deals from the top of the sport. But I also know, you know, fighters on the other end of the sport that he's helped as well. I know a fighter, I'm not going to name names, that had an injury, under 10 fights. Flew him out to see specialists, helped him live, and, you know, supported him through his injury, for him to then, which took, I think, about a year to 18 months, which then he come round and has now got his career back on track. I know another fighter that I'm not going to name names, that's turned around and said to me, I wouldn't be able to afford my car if he hadn't helped me and got in big fights and back into the place. So he's a phenomenal independent advisor, and you know, I've worked closely with him over the past few years, and if anybody's going to get that job done, it'll be Daniel, and it'll beat expectations, because that's the type of person that he is.
To think that we could potentially have the fight like that, I mean, Fury versus Joshua, I mean, it doesn't get any better than that at this point. I mean, I think it's really exciting to think that we're even having these conversations. There's actual moves happening to potentially see that. Now, don't get me wrong. Again, Joshua still has Pulev, and Fury still has the third Wilder fight. But we don't know. Again, we don't know what's going to end up happening. We don't know Wilder could potentially take a step aside fee. I don't know. And then also, I'm not sure how it works in terms of, you know, placing these unified fights before rematches or mandatories. I mean, from my understanding, that trumps anything else. So I don't know. It's an interesting one. It's an interesting one to see how this will play out.
Yeah, it is an interesting one. I think that, you know, there's a lot to, like we said, you know, with fights that potentially were signed and supposed to go ahead, how does that reflect with what's gone on with the pandemic? And, you know, I'm sure that a pandemic isn't put into a contract usually, you know. So it's a difficult one. But like I say, if anybody's going to do it and be able to put that together, it'd be Daniel, because he's got a fantastic relationship with many different broadcasters, many different promoters, many different managers, and many fighters. So it's definitely exciting times for the heavyweight division, but also boxing in general.
What fight are you hoping to see the most?
Hey Fight fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps. If you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you go ahead and do so by clicking this icon right here and hit the bell button so you can get notified every time we upload a new video. And we also have a free app available on iTunes and Google Play, so make sure you go and download that. Bye Fight fans.